So, extend that to them back there. So Dr. Laura has this thing she says, and I don't think you said it this morning. No, you did not. She says, this is not your mama's church. If anything is evidence of that, is what we just did here. I love that song. I'm so glad we did it, and they did a great job. So thank you for being open to the fun. So I'm going to start off with a question this morning. So we just had New Year's, right? Did you guys have a great New Year's? Yeah? Yeah? So how many of you did something new or fun on New Year's Day? How many of you did something like you stepped out of your, yeah? And how many of you just hung out at home? Yeah, that's my favorite thing, yeah. Truth be told, that's my favorite thing to do on New Year's. But a friend of mine had called me a couple days before New Year's and asked me if I wanted to go hiking with her. Hiking on New Year's. I haven't hiked in such a long time. I used to really love it, and I kind of have not in about 3 years now. And I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do something new. I'm gonna start my New Year's off hiking with her. So we went to I don't know, how many of you have hiked to the cross that's in Palm Desert? Yeah. I'd never done it before, so I didn't know what to expect. And she said, oh, it's really easy. There's just one incline. Just one incline. I thought, oh, great, just one incline? Oh, I'm there. Oh, you know, right? So we get up, we're all excited, I'm excited, it's a gorgeous day, and here comes the first incline, and so I thought, okay, I can do that, I got it. So we go up the first incline, I thought, great, that's it, no more inclines. Oh, was I wrong? So we're walking kind of just steadily up, no sharp inclines, and then here's another incline. And I'm like going, yeah, you said one incline, and that looks like a huge incline to me. And she goes, oh, no, that's it. I'm sorry, no, there were just two. That's the last one. You guys have all been there, you know. So that incline happens, and man, I'm kind of huffing and puffing and going, whoo, boy, thank God there's only two of those. But there was a third, there was a fourth, there was a fifth. I think there was a sixth and a seventh. And it was really, I was very challenged by it because I didn't know if I could do it. It was kind of hard, and kind of being out of that cardio shape that would have been no big deal. But I realized that with every incline, I had to do a little self-talk. And I just said, you know what? I can do this. I can do this. I'm going to pay attention to my body. If I need to stop, I'll stop. If I need to drink water, I'm going to give it my best shot. And I was so excited that I was able to complete the whole thing without like dropping dead at the end of it. It was really cool. I know, I thought I'm not in such bad shape. And I found myself, you'll love this for all of you science and minders, I found myself after the hike starting to say, oh, you're going to be sore tomorrow, like starting that kind of self-talk. And I go, oh my God, I'm stopping that right now. I'm going to be fine the next day. And I was fine the next day. But 2 days later, man, I had some gnarly calf pain, but I'm good. I'm walking in my high heels today, and it's all good. But I wanted to start with this story because there's something inside of us that we like to tap into that gives us strength, that gives us inspiration. When we think we can't anymore, when we think we just don't have any more energy inside of ourselves to go through our life or do something. And I wrote this, we're looking for something that gives us strength and inspiration and informs us that we can triumph regardless of circumstances and conditions. There's something that leads us to believe that unlimited possibilities are ours to have. Don't we need that sometimes? Right? You know, we're continually having to have a conversation with our mind that tells us you can't do it, you're not enough, you don't have the skill, blah, 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 blah. And I love what we teach here because we teach you to find that place inside of yourself that has a different message for you. And the more we learn to listen to it, the more we can have the conversation with that other part of our mind that says, no, you can't. And what's cool is the more you let that other voice talk, the more extraordinary your life can be. Mankind has always sought the help of a higher power. I talk about like my past and who I was, and something I don't think you know is when I was in college, I studied many things and changed my major about 4 or 5 times. And one of my majors was archaeology and anthropology. I really liked cultural anthropology because I liked studying how other cultures did this thing called life. And I took a class called Human Universals. I thought that's cool because it taught all the different things that every culture does. And one thing I found really mind-blowing is that every culture has a higher power. You know, ours probably is the only one that turned into, or that is bringing atheism, which is no belief in any power. But all the other ones believed in a higher power, and I thought, that's pretty cool. It just goes to show that there's something inside of us that says there's something bigger. There's something bigger for us. And so it's a yearning, it's a natural yearning for all of us, and it's something to pay attention to. Ernest Holmes said, all men seek some relationship to the universal mind, the oversoul, or the eternal spirit, which we call God. And life reveals to whoever is receptive to it. And we teach you to open up your heart, to be receptive to it, because I know, I was one of you. I came to this center with a real kind of not negative, but my relationship with spirit wasn't great. But I came here because they taught me that if I am open to it and receptive to it, then I can allow it into my life to create something beyond anything I ever thought was possible. So what you might not know is that this month, it's traditional for us to teach the first 4 chapters of The Science of Mind, which is the book that we use here quite a lot. It defines and explains our philosophy in like way too many pages. So we do the easy work for you. We take the first 4 chapters and we do what we will with them to present an understanding of what we teach here. And the first chapter is called The Thing Itself. And I was thinking about just using the same talk I used last year because I liked it a lot. I thought, well, this is great. And then I sat down and looked at it and I go, oh, I'm in such a different place this year. No, we're going to start from scratch because that's how I torment myself. So the thing itself is really the way that Ernest Holmes talks about God or spirit or infinite intelligence or love, whatever that higher power is, he calls it the thing itself. Now again, does this not say this is not your mama's church, right? Because most religions have a whole different way of explaining God, right? It usually involves maybe a deity or a way of seeing God as some sort of exterior power, that kind of stuff. But we do it so much differently here, and I'm honored to be able to tell you how we do it. So Ernest says the study of science of mind is a study of first cause, spirit, mind, or the invisible essence, that ultimate stuff and intelligence from which everything comes, the power back of creating, and it's the thing itself. And Ernest, all these words, first cause, spirit, mind, invisible essence, ultimate stuff, these are all words he uses for God or spirit. And there's more you could use. There's so many more you could use. His point was, get out of having to define it, just like I was teaching with the Tao. If we don't define it, but just kind of get an understanding in our heart what it is, that's empowering to us. And that's allowing that thing itself, as we say, to open us up to what's possible for us. So the thing, I thought since we're doing the religions today, I could tell you how the thing is to different religions. The thing is order and balance to the Tao. The thing is law in Judaism. The thing is love in Christianity. The thing is consciousness in Buddhism. Now, I realize there are many of you out there whose brains are exploding right now. I get it. I'm there with you. I just want you to be open to what I am presenting to you as another way of seeing spirituality inside of yourself with new eyes. Because what I know about this philosophy is it's intuitive. Many people, including myself, who came to the center, who took classes, there was something inside of us that said, wow, this is how I believe, and somebody teaches it as a spiritual philosophy. There's just something very natural and normal, and I think as we allow ourselves to listen to these ideas, we can start to see, wow, that totally makes sense. So what it is, and you know what, this is like nothing. What it is, and I'm going to call it and the thing itself those things. So if I say it, I'm talking about spirit. So it's creative energy that acts upon our beliefs. It's dynamic. It's everywhere. It's intelligent. It is love. All those wonderful things, those qualities that are expansive, that are meaningful to the heart, that are inspiring for us, this is what it is. But what it is not, according to science of mind, it is not a person, although it expresses through people as people. It does not judge us, and it is no respecter of persons. So it's not picking certain people to provide them with their blessings and restricting others. It gives of itself unceasingly. We are the ones that say no. And so this is where the work is. This is where the realigning of our awareness, of our consciousness, of the way we think of God, this is where that begins. So Ernest says there is that within every individual which partakes of the nature of the universal wholeness, and insofar as it operates is God. So we are all whole. We are all a part of this wholeness. We are one with it. And I know there's many of us through our upbringing, through our experiences, who feel we are just the opposite, that we are not whole, that we are broken, that we are outside of this realm of divinity. It is not who we are. And Ernest says that is so not true. We all partake of that wholeness because it is us. It is us. And sometimes we need to kind of cozy up with that because we may not believe it. But I am here to tell you, you are it. You are it. You are the wholeness. And it's our mind, it's our consciousness that determines how much of that we're going to bring into life. And many of us have gods that really don't deserve to be gods in our lives. There are people that we assign that role. There are circumstances that we assign that role. Anything we're saying has power over us or more power than we have, that can be a god. And a lot of us have false gods. And we're here to teach you to take your power back and to find that God is right inside of you, and that means you are it. You are it. So my talk title is called, What's It to You? What's it to you? And I wanted to be a little playful, forgive me. But I wanted you all to take the time this week to ask yourself, what is it to me? What is this thing that I know exists that's bigger than anything in this world, that thing I feel in my heart that I really can't define, that thing that I call upon when life is getting really stressful and I need a little help, that thing that is love, that thing that is creativity, that thing that brings a vision for you to break free of what restricts you. Let's ask ourselves, meditate on it, think about what it is to you. I believe that there is a global epidemic, and I think it's been around for a long time, that we are spiritually starving, absolutely spiritually starving. There's a lot of religions, there's a lot of things going on, but I think a lot of us aren't getting nourished at the spiritual level in a way that we need to be nourished. And I know what we do here is we nourish you so much. We give you the nourishment of understanding who you are as this divine creative energy. It is not separate from you. It is right here inside of you. And when we nourish ourselves with that truth, we're not starving anymore. We're not needy anymore. We're clear. We're focused. We're grounded in who we are. We feel the love for who we are. As these unique divine individuals, we get that. And then we see that in others as well, and we stop judging. This, to me, is what spiritual nourishment is all about. Not dogma, not things you're supposed to do. It's more about being, having faith, accepting this love, this creativity, this ocean of love and light and guidance that we're in 24/7. To open our minds to see that and live that, I believe, will end this epidemic. So when we take life at face value, we don't see what is possible. And I think this is where spirituality comes in. This is where the thing itself comes in. I remember when I used to take life at face value, when I was mad at God. I've talked about it. I don't need to tell you about it. But God and I were not having a good time together because I needed to redefine God. I had God as the sky God, as the punisher. I had God as something that was not for me, and I needed to behave a certain way, and I wasn't, and so I was reaping all kinds of things I didn't want in my life. But what I love about seeing spirit as this broader, expansive energy that doesn't judge, that's always available, we don't need to take life at face value anymore because we're going to a higher field of seeing that if I've got a dream in my heart, it must be possible. It must be possible. And the thing itself is going to make it happen for you. So we are in a place of spiritual evolution. We always are. I mean, let's just face it, we are always evolving and changing. Let's just say, yes, that's the way it is, and let's go for it, right? So we are spiritually evolving, and we've been evolving for a while. When I gave this talk last year, I talked about Nietzsche, who said, God is dead. What a proclamation, God is dead. But he was saying not that God, the essence, the energy is dead, but the way we look at God is dead. Because with all the technology and all the advances and what we know about the machinations of this world, our idea of spirit has got to change because it doesn't support us. It's not viable anymore to see spirit or God in the way we did 2,000 years ago. We're changing. And I know that quantum physics is helping with that because it's showing how things are actually, what is proving in science is what metaphysicians have been saying all along. So the old way of seeing God has been falling apart for some time in the face of technology and our intellectual evolution. But if we see God as intelligent, creative, responsive energy that acts upon our consciousness, which is really just our strongest beliefs and feelings, the proof starts to show up. You know, I want to see a show of hands. How many of you have used our philosophy and seen changes in your life for the better? Look at this. I want you guys to look around, those of you that are here for the first time. This is what this philosophy does. And I know a lot of us came here kind of broken and not sure about God, and we started to see things differently. We started seeing spirit as intelligent, as responsive, as creative, and we let it in. And then the proof that we can change our lives, that we can grow, that we can be healthy, wealthy, joyful, creative, all that good stuff, all of that showed up. And it continues to do so. Ernest says, we all look forward to the day when science and religion shall walk hand in hand through the visible to the invisible. He wrote this in like 1930, almost 100 years ago. He wrote this because he saw that the two were saying the same thing, different languages. And we're seeing that today. We're seeing how consciousness can move energy and bring it into form. And that's what Ernest was saying. From the visible to the invisible, to see what's out here and see that there's an invisible cause of it all, and we call it consciousness. Ernest says, back of each of us is both the principle and the presence, a divine unity. It's not just this science that we teach you how to do. There's an essence, there's an energy, there's a presence of spirit that we feel, and we just know it. I feel it in this room. Every time I come in this room, I feel the presence in a really big way because there's been so much good energy through prayer, through talks, through you guys, through all of us that have brought in energy here, and that's presence. And this is a unity. Principle works with all of this energy. So it's ours. What should we do with it? That's a big deal, right? It's yours to do. Huge responsibility. Oh, by the way, we teach you to be responsible for your life. Don't kill me. We teach you to be responsible for your life. And I think that's a good thing. Because if I'm responsible, it means I can change it. I can change it. I'm not blaming anybody else. But if I'm responsible, good God, how wonderful. I get to change it. He also says we should cultivate it because we do need to practice it. We need to practice it every day. We need to do something, whether you pray, whether you meditate, whether you go out in the wilderness, whether you just acknowledge the presence of spirit is right where you are. We need to cultivate it and make it stronger. Kind of like my hike, right? I was so just not in shape. So not in shape. But had I exercised my physical muscles, I would have not cared how many of those inclines existed. But it's the importance, it's a metaphor to remind us that we have to exercise our spiritual muscle as well. Because the stronger it is, the easier it is to walk through life experiences that might knock us down. We can just get right back up and go, oh, I know who I am spiritually. I know what's possible, and just move through it. So Ernest also says that it comes to us only as the expression of our true self. And this is a big teach here. We believe that we are all expressions of the one, of the divine, through and through. You are it. And it's time for us to start claiming it, owning it, and allowing it to express more fully and completely as us. So Reverend David and I were talking last night. We talk a lot about consciousness. I don't know. It's something we like to banter around. And he said something yesterday on the phone. I'm like, oh my God, David, I have to use that in my talk tomorrow. What did you say? And he kind of pieced it together, so I maybe reformed it. I don't know. But he said consciousness organizes divine energy to express itself and live into life. And I thought it was clear to me. I don't know if it's clear to you. But if you see consciousness as organizing all this unlimited, boundless, formless energy, if you see your consciousness as the organizing factor of it, then you can see the power that you play in your life. That's powerful, that you have all this ability inside of you to use your thinking, your feeling, to create a life that you are living. Makes you think about what you're choosing to organize, right? And that's where a lot of our work is, because some of us, and me included, sometimes I let old stuff come and create through me. That's organizing stuff, and it just organizes messes. I do not like messes. I want my consciousness to organize good and love and joy. Science of Mind teaches us that we are not victims. We are not victims at all. We play an active role in creating our reality. It teaches us how to maximize our life experience by understanding the nature of life and how to use the thing itself. And that's why we start today with the thing itself. And it's so brilliant what Ernest Holmes did to find the thing that brings the energy in. And I know Dr. Laura, Dr. Joe, and Reverend William, they're going to be telling you how to use this thing, what it does, all parts of it. But today it's all about the thing itself and how you use it, how you view it, what it is to you. To learn how to think is to learn how to live. For our thoughts go into a medium that is infinite in its ability to do and to be. Within us, then, there is a creative field, which we call the subjective mind. Around us, there is a creative field, which we call subjective. I had to add this, you guys. I'm sorry, I know it's a lot, but I had to add it in because it's a really important part of our teaching. And you can see that capital S of subjective, and there's a small s. That's because what Ernest is teaching us is that behind this visible, there's an invisible that we are all connected to, we all are, all the time. We may not be aware of it, but we're in it 24/7. Has anybody in here ever had a feeling about somebody and then they call 5 minutes later? Anybody? A lot of you. A lot of you. That's the subjective field. There's a lot of communicating going on there. It's beneath our awareness, but it's happening. And it also happens to be a place where not only do we connect with each other, but it's how we create our lives. Our beliefs are there. Our feelings, our deep feelings are there. A lot of awareness that's subterranean lives there. And so this is the place that we have to really make sure we've got good beliefs in, because that's the creative soil. That is the field that we bring all of our beliefs in, and the thing itself brings it in through the creative process. So I know that's a lot, that whole subjective thing, I know it's a lot, but just be aware that underneath in the invisible, we are one, and it's a place of creativity. It's a place where we bring forward all that is in our belief system into here. And so we want to really be mindful of what's back there, the best to our ability. So kind of the end of my talk is about freedom. I love freedom. How many of you love freedom? Anybody? So the thing is our key to freedom. The thing starts this whole freedom experience into practice, into form, into reality. This thing teaches us to be free to be who we are, free from limitation, free from conditions, free from anything that restrains you and keeps you small and keeps you out of living your greatest life. The thing is what activates our freedom. And Ernest Holmes was so clear on that. He starts off this chapter with freedom. I know over the week, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but President Biden handed out the medals of freedom. Was anybody into that at all? I was really touched by it because one of the greatest things I think about this country is freedom. It's a big deal for us. And when I saw all these people, and we might have our opinions about who they were given to, but when I saw what these people were about, And, I have not made it a secret that I love Bono from U2. He's like my hero. And I was like, yeah, that I can see that. But these are people who said, I'm not going to be living in limitation. And they each brought their own way of not living in limitation to this world. I mean, Bono teaches about human rights, about standing up for who you are, about being good to each other. And then there was somebody else, Michael J. Fox. Right? I was like crying when I saw him. But it was really interesting because I was listening to, I think President Biden was saying, yeah, he gave us, Alex from the Strokes of Life or whatever it was, like all these different TV shows he did. And I thought, that's so minimal, those accomplishments of those TV shows and movies, as wonderful as they are. To me, the biggest accomplishment that hero is showing up as far as freedom is concerned, is he was given a diagnosis. And he is saying, no, I am going to do what I can to live my best life. I'm going to do what I can to eradicate this disease from being here on planet Earth. This is somebody who said no to limitation. And that is, to me, somebody who totally deserves the Medal of Freedom. But what's really interesting about our heroes, these people who were given the Medal of Freedom, is they live inside of us, and we all deserve a Medal of Freedom. We really do. If you're sitting in this center watching online, you deserve a Medal of Freedom because you are saying, I want to believe in something that expands me beyond living a limited life. I want more. I want better. And so we're teaching you, this is how you do it in this room. Ernest says the divine plan is one of freedom. Bondage is not God ordained. Bondage is not God ordained. It is not who we are. Absolutely not. Freedom is the birthright of every living soul. This is like my favorite Science of Mind quote. This is true for everybody. Everybody. Freedom is our birthright. Free to be who you are. Free to live the life you desire. Free to live a happy, healthy, joyful life. It is inside of us. It is the thing itself. The thing itself liberates us to live life on our terms. And yes, you can. Yes, you can. The seed of freedom must be planted in the innermost being of man. But the prodigal son, like the prodigal son, man must make the great discovery for himself. This is where our work lies. This is it. We have to find it for ourselves. We have to. And what a fun adventure that is, right? A fun adventure of self-discovery. Don't ask anybody for input. I encourage you not to. You get to find this thing inside of you, the thing itself. That's yours, and it's whatever you want it to be. But it's got to mean something to you. It's got to be something that activates that awareness that, yes, there is more. Yes, there is greater possibility. Yes, the divine essence is everything that you are. The road to freedom lies not through mysteries or occult performances, but through the intelligent use of nature's forces and laws. The law of mind is a natural law in the spiritual world. Something that was very important to Ernest Holmes is that we see what we do here, this philosophy, as something that is very natural, very normal, very intuitive, that you don't need to burn 20 candles, the incense, and sit on a pillow to make this happen. You just need to embody it. You need to realize it. You need to be open to it and take it with you wherever you go. That's the road to freedom, to see the thing itself as you, working in, as, and through you, and bring it on in. When we learn to trust the universe, we shall be happy, prosperous, and well. This is a big deal because this is super important for us. Because I think in the song Alicia sang, she said something like that, how cool it is that the universe is for her. And it's for all of us. It's actually doing anything you want it to do, good or not so good. But when we learn to understand that the universe is just supporting what we desire, it allows us to say, well, I want to be happy, healthy, and whole. And it says, your wish is my command. That's how this works. So if we can trust in that it does work, and it doesn't work because you make it not work, the onus is on us. When we can say, well, the universe acts on my belief, when we can trust that it does, then raise your belief. Raise your belief, raise your faith, and know that you can have all the good you want. So I ask you to think about it this week. What word, concept, image, feeling means God or spirit to you? Sit with that this week. And I want you to find your thing. Find your thing, because as we go through the next three chapters, you're going to want to have that idea, that concept of thing well inside your heart. Because once you know what the thing itself is, you can start creating by understanding these laws that we're going to teach you. Well, I want to wish you all a happy new year. Thank you for listening to me. Have a great week. Namaste.